everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Due to the graphic and disturbing nature of the crimes discussed, listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Killing 15 Minutes and to the finale of this segment of AJ Files. Yes, he will have more. I'm Sam Rossi, the usual writer, reading a script written by AJ Carey, the usual reader. In previous episodes, we traced how Jeffrey Epstein built power, how the injustice system failed to stop him, and how he insulated himself with institutions to continue to tolerate him after conviction. This final episode begins with the tolerance finally ends, or appeared to. The story of Epstein's final arrest and why, even after his death, accountability remains unresolved. So last time we ended with Epstein getting out 13 months early on his probation with literally the most pristine jail sentence anyone has ever had. Effectively just being legally coaxed into sleeping in different penthouse. It was stupid. And that was in 2009. We glossed over that 2010, his house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez, also got 18 months after he tried to sell his journal, including who came and went from the Palm Beach estate. He got 18 months for obstruction and had to serve more actual jail time than the guy who was molesting kids. Oh, and the actual terms of Epstein's non-prosecution plea deal was made public thanks to a representative of the victims getting a judge to agree it should be made public, and thus we all got to see the stupidity that actually went down. Now, what's interesting, at least from a cursory glance, is most Epstein's timelines generally skip 2010 directly to 2019 when he was arrested, but that seems like a weird skip. In 2014, Jane Doe's v. the U.S. was against the federal government for violating the Crime Victims' Rights Act when U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta screwed everyone over by giving him and any potential co-conspirators immunity from prosecution. But put a pin in that because this is where things really get fun. In 2015, Virginia
I don't know.
Versus Jacqueline?
I always thought it was Jelaine.
Maxwell was a defamation suit against Maxwell for saying that Virginia wasn't a victim. It was settled out of court because Jeffrey Epstein did not want to testify about it.
But there's the thing about defamation lawsuits. You have to prove that, one, that what they're saying is defamation. So if you turn around and say, you didn't get raped. Okay. So we now have to have a case where it's proven that I was not sexually assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein.
Correct.
And you know who would have to testify?
Jeffrey Epstein.
And you know what that would be? It would be a public case.
2016, Jane Doe versus Epstein and Trump about being a victim of their abuse, with Trump being the client that Epstein gave her to. However, Trump's name was removed from the suit. Nope, we're not getting into that either.
Yet.
2017 had Sarah Ransom suing both Epstein and Maxwell. Basically, the 2010s was Epstein dealing with his victims, trying all in their power to find any means to hold Epstein accountable for his illegal activities and generally not finding a lot of footing. I should bring up the 2018 lawsuit where Jeffrey Epstein actually sued Bradley Edwards, the legal representative of a couple of Epstein's victims, who also put his NPA unsealed to be disclosed to the public. That would be his non-prosecution agreement.
But yeah, I do love that once he was able to once he did get it unsealed, then Epstein was like, I'm going to sue that guy. It's like, bruh, that's actually a terrible idea.
Very bad. The suit did settle, and you could guess how it went, with Epstein making a public apology about the suit afterwards. Accordingly, that case settled once it was revealed that the case would allow for Epstein's victims' testimony to be entered into evidence and make his actual crimes public knowledge, including some of his co-conspirators were. Who some of his conspirators were. Basically, Epstein did a stupid and then had to recant it hard. While all that was going on, the Miami Herald did a deep dive into then Secretary of Labor, Alexander Costa, had given Jeffrey Epstein his massive sweetheart deal that basically screwed over all investigations going forward. And basically is one of the few hard hits against Epstein. And those that protected him really got the public buzzing.
Oh, so we're going to be 1990s radio DJs?
The dive into him, as well as the amount of civil suits against him, meant that Epstein could not do what he wanted when he was done with his barely a punishment sentence. He wanted to disappear from the public eye to get back to a wheeling and dealing name that rich people knew and partnered with, but he couldn't. On the other end of the East Coast, though, in New York, there was a realization of sorts. So, first, we should bring up that the 2000s was a massive time for task force trying to protect kids. I know that sounds weird in 2025 when the federal government does all in its power to exploit and harm children. Sorry, anyways, the Innocent Lost National Initiative was founded in 2003. And in 2007, the New York State Interagency Task Force on Human Trafficking, or ITF for my lung's sake, was founded. That is where we get the real meat of this. The more victims that came forward about Epstein, the more it was revealed that his crimes weren't localized to Palm Beach or Florida. While the timeline for this specific part is still fairly shaded over, 2017 is when this joint task force of NYPD and FBI was able to uncover enough information for a formal investigation. So far as we know it, it didn't have a cool name like Operation Leap Year like it did back in 2017, in 2007. And technically, by being signed by the Florida USDA, that meant that it was within New York's right to go for it.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
The USDA in there stands for the District Attorney, not the Dairy Association. I think that's what USDA stands for.
United States Dairy Association, yes. He wasn't being charged with just solicitation. The evidence was there for much more. On July 6, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested at the New Jersey airport after he returned from a trip to France. Not on his own sexual misconduct with minors, but the charge of sex trafficking and the conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. Unlike last time, these charges reflected the scope of the allegations from the victim. Epstein pled not guilty. For the first time, it appeared that a full public reckoning might occur. Epstein was denied bail due to being a flight risk and a danger to society, and was held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. If it helps, the facility was already under scrutiny for staffing shortages and deteriorating conditions, much like all of the jails in New York State.
Oh, definitely, not just New York State. Our infrastructure, while we think about roads and everything like that, for having the most jailed populace in the world, we also don't put money into it as much as people think. While it is a billion-dollar industry, or, hundreds of billions of dollars, while it is a hundreds and billions of dollar industry, all that money gets pocketed by the suits. Very rarely does it ever reflect on the prison system itself. But I will say that is also a point that having a father, even if he is disowned, working in the corrections industry the corrections industry is a very good way to say it. In corrections institutions for so long, it's very, it's something we got to see more of than not.
Right.
The average person does not realize this fact. It's kind of what I'm saying.
I understand what you're getting at.
But I'm talking to the people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're interrupting my conversation with people who aren't there.
On July 8th, after a search of his property that found hundreds, if not thousands, of photos of nude or partially nude persons, with some verifiably underage, as well as CDs labeled things like young name plus name and Miss Girl 1 and Creativity 1 was even...
And Creatively 1 was even...
And Creatively.
Creatively.
I don't know why my brain's not putting that right. Creatively, 1 was even alleged to be labeled Young Girl's Nude 1. Not to compound the point, but he had enough money that he could have had a better naming system or hired someone to spruce up his collection. Maybe switch to digital. Yes, that is a joke. He kept them as souvenirs. I doubt he actually looked at them.
I'm sorry. I do have to harp on this. When I'm 14 and I label a fucking folder, nude girls or fat folder or porn, I'm 14 on a computer. If you are, you have, this dude had literally had CDs allegedly that just said nude girls. Nude girls 1, young nubile women, number 1, like, great that he numbered them. I'm hoping that he actually kept the numbers accurate, but he could do something better. Wild Bill's Magic Ride. Have that be the Bill Clinton one.
I want to know who Bubba is.
Oh, Bubba's Bill.
Well, according to Epstein's brother, Bubba is not Bill.
Well, Epstein's brother, it might be. Who knows? So then Trump didn't blow Bill Clinton? He blew a random guy?
That's what it sounds like, but I want to say that it's Bill Clinton because it sounds like something
I
Bubba
would, because it sounds like something Bill would do and something Trump would do.
Yeah.
Trump seems like the biggest fucking pushover in the world, and he's proving it.
On August 10th, 2019, so he's in jail now. All good? No, not good. Not good at all. On August 10th of 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell. He was pronounced dead shortly after. The official ruling was hanging by suicide. Almost immediately.
Suicide by hanging. You said hanging by suicide.
Oh. Almost immediately, questions were up. Oddly, not about whether Epstein was dead or not, which you would think that if someone had the context he did, it would have been mentioned, but let's not humor AJ's pet theory.
That would be that he is currently living off the Ivory Coast.
And go into what did make people rally behind the Epstein didn't kill himself banner. One that I have actually been part of.
I actually 100% agree that he wouldn't kill himself. He had too many times where he got so close to being caught and got away with it.
There's a huge possibility that he could have gotten away with it again without.
Well, and that's sort of the thing, is that there was no way that he would have the mindset of, oh no, I'm all done, I need to kill myself.
No, he was still probably mathematically trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Now, if, say, this happened 2 years after he was caught, and he was still in jail, or if this wasn't, months after he was put into a corrections facility in his own private block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was still very much in the camp, like, there's no way that he would immediately go into the downward spiral.
No.
He had enough of an ego on him, let's say, that a couple months in jail was nothing. You know what I mean? That's why I would never say that he... Now you could argue, oh, well, psychology is different, and he could have actually been very fragile, so once he got caught and then discovered that they were, raiding him and shit like that, it might have been, oh, these people are going to kill me regardless, I'm going to kill myself, which is also a very valid interpretation of his mindset. But again, he was that cocky. I don't think
he killed himself on the fact that he had a number of people that he was blackmailing.
Well, that's it.
So you have a number of people that will do anything for you not to release that information.
And Hochul wouldn't become governor until 2023?
Yeah.
So he still had Cuomo in his pocket.
Yep.
So there were so many different ways. Again, if this was several years after he got arrested.
Yes, it's not...
While the trial's still going, because we all knew it was going to last 150 years regardless, it makes up a very big difference between mindsets.
It does. All right. The camera viewing his cell was malfunctioning. No, they found the camera footage.
And everyone knew that was bullshit.
All right, we all know that was fake. Sorry. The camera viewing his cell was malfunctioning. And the fake footage that says otherwise is fake. And several around his pod, that is be where he was located, that'd be his housing dorm, produced unusable footage at that time. Staffing protocols were not followed, like the guards saying they were asleep or they were just not there. The basic prisoner checks and records just simply weren't happening. As somebody who has been under, I'll be honest, as somebody who's been under constant surveillance while I was in the pen. No, I'm joking. I was at the zoo. No, I'll be honest. I was in the padded room. I wish they had a padded room. Anyways, so they checked on me every half hour and had to write down that they laid eyes on me.
Yeah, you literally, that's where the checks weren't happening. The records weren't being kept. Nothing in this suggests that he was a high-valued prisoner.
Right. It's sounding like he's a low-level dude that's just in there because he got pulled over.
He got busted for weed, so he's just in holding for the night.
That's what it sounds like. The Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz. We didn't talk about Barry Horowitz.
Why do you think? Read the actual sentence.
Okay, anyways. The Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz would officially conclude that...
you can put the AJ accidentally wrote. I even wrote in a fake way for you to say that I miswrote something.
But the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz, AJ accidentally wrote Barry Horowitz, which I have no idea who that is.
He's a wrestler.
Would officially conclude that the death was a suicide enabled by negligence, misconduct, and poor job performance.
That would be where you say that there are two people charged with his murder, even though it's a suicide.
Right.
It's not technically that they were charged. Well, we'll get into it.
Now, the explanation wasn't dramatic. It was procedural. It was safe. For those that don't know how to cover For those that don't have to cover a lot of prison-related stuff or grew up with a CO father who brought a lot of paperwork home, systematic failure of the U.S. prison systems is rampant. Even the jail he was in had its problem. But Epstein is Epstein. High-value prisoners generally have a priority setting, so when the normalcy is shifted to being, oh, no cams, no guards, dead, poof, dead, it really gives a mystery. Again, if he was even killed and didn't run off to the Ivory Coast. I thought we were doing conspiracies later.
He.
Epstein's death did end the criminal case against him, but did not end the story. Civil lawsuits against his estate continued. Documents finally were unsealed after Congress had forced the current administration, held by Donald Trump, to unseal them with H.R., which is House Resolution 4405, the Epstein Files Transparency Act.
Which, hilariously, Thomas Massey is a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fascinating to me is that it was a Republican-led House resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dems are doing fuck all.
They're voting yes with it, though.
Well, yeah, of course they're voting yes with it. They're not going to take the first step. But right now, the corporate Dems in office literally aren't doing anything because they're corporately controlled. And no, that isn't me siding with MAGA red hat bullshit. That's me saying the Dems have every legal right to fucking check every single thing that's happening in the U.S. right now, and they're not. There is no reason that a Republican should have been the one to go, hey guys, we care about the Epstein. They don't care about it. Thomas Massey just wants a good hit next time he's going to run for anything. And he's got it. He's got my vote because he's the one who manned up, whether he's doing it politically or not, turning around and going, I'm going to do this. Great. Show some balls. You did it. I'll even side with Margaret Taylor fucking Greene, who I fucking hate, because she actually was one of the Republicans who actually turned around and when Thomas Massey's like, look, we got to fucking do this. fucking Margaret Taylor Greene, who has the worst track record, second to only Lauren Boebert, when it comes to their bullshit in Congress or Senate. It's Congress. She's a congresswoman, right?
I believe she's a housewoman, yes. Member of the House.
But I'll side with her when it comes to this. And even outside of the Epstein thing, she's actually gone, not necessarily retracted, but actually shown, wow, I think I might have been a little fucking weird here. And it's like, oh my God, she's becoming self-aware. But again, that's where the difference is between a Republican and a fucking MAGA red hat. Okay, it isn't a problem with Republicans, it's a problem with red hats, and then the weak-willed Republicans who follow the fucking cult of personality because suddenly, hey, if you don't do what Trump says, they're going to cut your fucking state's funding by $400 billion. None of that has to do with Epstein.
And this is a problem we're all having right now. Fun fact. They broke the law repeatedly by delaying their release after a hard deadline.
None of my fun facts have been fun, have they?
And also by heavily redacting them, which is extra sad because they tried to retroactively redact files as they were put up. But you can go watch Legal Eagle and basically anyone with a brain talking about the crimes of current as of 2025 administration for better information on this.
And in 2026, I would like to say one major thing. Hey, you know the day that we decided to bomb Venezuela and enact an act of war? Do you know what that Friday was also supposed to be? Releasing
the Epstein files.
No, they already fucked that up. That was the deadline for them to unredact because they did not follow any of it. This was pretty much their new deadline of, look, upload everything, redact nothing. Outside of basic redaction that we talked about in the second episode.
Yes, Palm Beach, yes.
Yeah, because you could actually see how you're supposed to redact to keep people's privacy private. You take away the victim's name and the address or any numbers that would identify that person. That's it. You do not need you do not need Adobe Acrobat to fucking mass. Anyways.
Oh, so was it true that all you had to do was copy and paste it in the notebook and it would show what it was?
For certain things, yes. It looks like they tried...
Just highlighting?
From what I can see, is pretty much what they did was kind of just highlight over it. But it was only with the newer stuff they were trying to redact. Versus, like, you couldn't do that with the stuff that was...
just out.
You had to do it with the stuff that was just out. It couldn't be the stuff that was... from 2012 that was redacted, or 2009 that was redacted. Most of the stuff that was redacted in 2005, like his first case, was redacted by hand. So you couldn't actually just highlight and copy it over. However, I still haven't found a full verification of it, like I haven't gone in to see. But I have seen videos and I have seen people talk about it a lot. And we've seen information come out because of it.
Yes.
So I would say that that myth is proven.
I would think that urban legend is true. Anyways, I like Legal Eagle. I will let you let you shout him out all the time. My personal favorite is still the hi.
His My Cousin Vinny episode?
My Cousin Vinny episode.
Where he covers the legal accuracy. Yes. He's actually, him and two other people. He's got two other lawyers that really pop up with him now. And one covers a lot more. I think I showed you the JAG video where him and someone else... I really wish I could remember his name. Sorry. And then they actually have a woman who covers a lot more of the political stuff.
Okay.
Again, I really wish I could remember her name. I can remember Devin Stone because that's the name of a fucking lawyer, and that's Legal Eagle's name. But Devin Stone is the name you think, like, there are certain names that go with the job, If I see a Maxwell Steele walking down the street, I'm thinking he's a cop from the 80s. A detective, specifically, from the 80s. I'm not thinking he's a, CPA. Certified Public Accountant. But anyways, I digress.
All right, anyways. I like Legal Eagle. We're going to leave it there. Someone who we haven't really brought up yet is Ghislaine, I hate this word, Maxwell, who apparently started dating Epstein in 1991, because at some point we're going to hit 2091. So 1991.
Hey, you think we're going to be alive for that? I'm first motherfucker against the wall, sissy.
Dude, if I can find the money, we're getting out of the fucking city. We're going in the middle of fucking nowhere, and we're going to be nowhere near fucking bombs.
Hey, Society of Psychical Research, I will totally become a member. And I will be a full-time employee if you can move me and my family of 8 to London.
You know what? I would like to live on an island in Wales.
Hi. We don't have island money.
Actually, you know what's funny? We would have island money.
We barely have living in America money. Anyways, let's continue. We're almost done.
Okay. 1991. The same year, her very wealthy, potentially Mossad-tied father had his accidental drowning until about 2006-ish. Basically through the bulk of the allegations made against Epstein, in fact. And while the victims pegged her not just as an accomplice, but a co-abuser and his right hand. So a year after Epstein, she was charged with sex crimes, although much lesser since she was pegged as an accomplice in recruiting and abusing, but not the main perp. In December, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And now, in 2025, she has been moved to a low-level holding facility where she even has a puppy. Unrelated, current President Trump says she's a great gal and hopes for the best for her.
Yeah. He's that fucking demented. And again, Democrats do nothing. You have like 3 that are actually trying, but
they're the ones that everybody freaking bitches about because they're the most vocal, like AOC.
AOC, hell, even Iran Omar.
Yeah.
Who currently has she's married to her brother.
All right, so puppy, Trump's being an asshole. So what the hell is the takeaway from all of this? Jeffrey Epstein's story is often framed as extraordinary, but the truth is it's painfully familiar. A powerful man, repeated warnings, institutional hesitation, and delayed accountability. Without going into conspiracies, his life exposed something more uncomfortable. The systems built to manage risk are often incapable of stopping harm from those that hold power. Epstein is dead, but the conditions that allowed his crimes to persist are not. They exist wherever power can supersede scrutiny, when reputation outweighs testimony, and where accountability is deferred until it no longer remains. Thanks. I hate it here.
You and me both, sissy. I would like us to get back to normal crimes after this.
Yeah, I think we're going to go do a normal crime. I
or
don't
mything.
know what we're doing.
I like mything. If this makes you feel like the world's falling apart, it is. But know that we're all gonna burn together.
Hey. Blue Notebook. All right, I'm Sam Rossi.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Honestly, join our Patreon. One, this is not going to get monetized. We talk way too much about someone who's raping people, and Killing 15 Minutes, especially on YouTube, covers way too much brutality to actually be, and I don't want us to use the word unalive or grape or essayed. I think I understand why people do to stay within the guides given by things like YouTube. I also think that it's diminishing returns. You know, it's rape, it's not grape. You know, unalive himself. He killed himself. Those terms, while they are softer for advertisers, they also soften the blow of what actually happened. It's like when people say, oh, he had sex with an underage girl. No. He raped an underage girl, or he had sex with an underage woman.
Yes.
He raped an underage girl. He took advantage of his power and position to have sex against the will, or even coerced sex with people in high school and younger. Anyways, please like, follow, and share. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it. I'm AJ Carey.
I'm Sam Rossi. Later, y'all.
keep on carrying on.
C-A-R-E-Y. Because
Carry On Production.